Supreme Court sometime this term. It's up there right now, and how they're going to do, I have not followed the oral argument on it. But that
I think this is
up
the
there, right?
Kiobel
Yeah,
case.
that's the one.
Yeah.
And I would add that the world expert in that area is Professor Curtis Bradley at Duke Law School.
And who gave a lecture yesterday as part of our prequel to the conference on this very subject. I wish I could repeat it, but I'm not Curtis Bradley, I can assure you. Could I pose a question, Admiral Houck? We've talked about the South China Sea and how nations are turning rocks into islands and so forth. Are we seeing this phenomenon any other places in the world, or should we be watching for it? And do you think that the U.S. has formulated, the right approach or right policy to that?
Well, I think the U.S. is somewhat disadvantaged because of our failure to join the Law of the Sea Convention. And there's an extent to which, and it's not a complete extent, but there's an extent to which when we attempt to define terms in the treaty that we do run into some resistance that way for not having membership in the convention. In terms of other places where the phenomenon may be coming up, I don't know if anybody else can contribute any other places like that where the rocks and islands phenomenon is so predominant.
We ran into a definitional issue when I did this little book on definitions of the law of the sea, and finally came up with, the only thing I can do is say, go look at the book.
We'll do.
It's definitely a dominant area.
I think the interesting, frankly, the interesting phenomenon for me in a group like this, in a conversation like this, is that there have been no questions, or perhaps less interest, that may or may not be the right read of the group, in the overall question of ratification of the Law of the Sea Convention. And it plays, and it's an issue in the Western Pacific. It is a arguably very important proposition in the Arctic, and as well has the potential on this, again, here on Sequester Day, to give the U.S. the opportunity for a dramatic extension of the U.S. continental shelf. And so Senator Kerry held hearings on the issue last summer. There was some opposition expressed, but I think a wide swath of support for the convention from very strange bedfellows, industry, environmental groups, the U.S. Department of Defense, and the Coast Guard. And it is one of